So I experienced ceramics for the first time when I was 5.
Oh my gosh, that's so young.
My parents sent me to this art school because in Russia, where I come from, each kid needs to have after-school activity. It needs to be either a little violinist or a little ballerina or a little artist. So because I was no good as a ballerina or a violinist, I became an artist. So, and we had pottery classes, and so I tried it then. I went to gymnasium and we were learning Latin and ancient Greek, and that's why I was really into those cultures, and then that's how I got into archaeology. I kind of was getting into ceramics because I loved ancient Neolithic cultures, and ceramics and pottery is what you study.
Yeah.
And then I was just trying things out and getting into it, and slowly archaeology went in the background, and I realized that I will not be a good classical linguist, and the pottery sort of took the first place, and I went to the State Academy of Art and Design in St. Petersburg, and I did both my BA and MA in ceramics there.
Oh, amazing.
Been quite experimental, I think, with ceramic material, and I've always tried things out, and it's always been quite abstract, and it's just when I was young and the things I was making, I think because it was quite unusual for the context, and I was just a bit crazy. But then I started to apply to competitions and try to get out, and all of a sudden I saw that there are people who do this kind of work and actually make a living, and it's a career, not just a really crazy hobby. And that's so I think that kind of opened my eyes up, and I kind of could see that where I would like to go with that, because position myself. The past year has been quite turbulent with all the political situation was going on with the world and then my state, and I wanted to kind of just create a piece that would viscerally sort of reflect how I feel. And so when I was working on the shape, I wanted it to be a little bit sort of almost pregnant, a little bit inflated, and that's why it has this little belly here. I actually have pierced this piece many times. It's almost like bleeding. It's quite dramatic. To me, it's quite intense in terms of sort of material language, this piece. And I think with pregnancy and ceramics, I can see that it's very similar processes, because you're working on something now and you can't see it, you can only envision it, but you're a little bit guessing, and it's exciting, but yet it comes out, and then you try to predict the result before you put it in the kiln, but you can never do that. And then when you open the doors of the kiln, you're finally happy, and it's oh great, so it was a good closure with this piece.
Are you excited to exhibit as part of this group?
I'm very excited because honestly, to me, it's not always that I exhibit with artists everybody's work I really like. And this is the case, and I'm so happy about it.
Oh, good. That's good. So nice.
I went to this school called Our Ladies, and I remember once I started modelling this clown mask, and my art teacher, Miss McElroy, she called Kathy Kearney now, Mrs. Kearney, and I kind of modelled it, and it just happened. And this is my really bad Irish accent now, so please, she went, "Connor, you got a gift. you got a gift. I was like, oh right, so I think this is my calling now. And it's kind of one of the situations where I fell into it. I pretty much fell into ceramics. I felt like the universe just kind of like put me on this path, and I just went with it.
And you flourished.
And I flourished into a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah.
The initial point of my creative practice, which back in, obviously I graduated in 2017 from the Royal College, I remember sitting in my nan's house and I was like, what am I going to do for my second year project? And my nan has got the most amazing fireplace full of like kitsch, chintzy ornaments. In the middle of this fireplace, my nan's got a portrait of herself, an accidental shrine to herself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm going to kind of focus on this. And that's the kind of way I got the ball rolling. And so every time I do a new project, the first place I go to is a charity shop. And when I kind of get a feeling about an object, it's kind of, it's my emotions and memories evoked by the object, so I want to try and reinterpret that.
Yeah.
So these objects are kind of like my preliminary sketch for the sculptures that I do make. My nan always said, don't just put it on a plinth and entertain them.
Yeah.
I don't want to put something on a plinth, I want to kind of the object to entertain and actually hold the mirror up to a lot of people's faces and actually not conform to the purest idea of what ceramics can be, what it should be. You can tell, like when I was talking about this, the piece actually cracked in the kiln. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have time to make it again. I'm not going to make it again, because I think with each piece I make, it's a conversation between the maker and material. And I think it's a very personal experience. And I kind of just throw it back together and kind of display that. And I kind of think, I find this work a lot more exciting than my more pristine stuff, because it's got a lot more character.
And nothing in life is perfect. Like there's fault lines in the earth, there's cracks in our lives, and that doesn't mean that they're not perfect in another way. It just means looking at those, like you say with Kintsugi, honouring the story that it has to tell. And if it cracks during the drying process, during the kiln process, that just means it's part of its story. Yeah. And the story that you've given it.
So I'm excited to kind of exhibiting like different neon pieces with the golden piece to kind of see how they interact in a different space alongside other artists' work. So I'm looking forward to seeing how I curate and how they interact with one another. And it's going to be a good show.